Here's the weekly chart for altcoins. You zoom in on this weekly chart. Look at this weekly candle. It is testing all-time high. Right now, we have a weekly candle that is trading above the all-time high of last cycle in November 2021. If you're an altcoin holder, if you've been accumulating altcoins and just waiting for an altcoin bull market, you like to see this. You really do. I want to talk about the move in terms of risk, and I want to look at Ethereum charts in terms of where it is in this cycle, because as I've been saying for quite some time now, the move is just getting started. There are some headlines that I want to just breeze through very quickly with you that are so insanely bullish to start this video. So hit the subscribe and like on the way in. I appreciate all of you watching the video. And if you're not in our intelligence system, we have a free trial going on right now. So click the link below, get access to our risk models so that you can start planning and strategizing the best time to accumulate. And what I think is perhaps more important as we enter this era, take profits. So let's start. I just want to read through some headlines. I'm going to go through quickly. I'm not going to spend a ton of time, but just realize what's happening right now. Staking is now live. This is as of today. Staking is now live in Grayscale Spot ETH ETFs. First direct staking spot crypto ETFs in US. I did a brief thought on X. I'll just say this. Liquidity and capital floodgates are officially opening. This is one dynamic of the crypto space and how the crypto space is just still in its early stages and will grow, but it's huge. Here's Hunter, CEO of Bitwise. This is huge. New special report from Morgan Stanley, GIC. We aim to support our financial advisors and clients who may flexibly allocate to cryptocurrency as part of their multi-asset portfolios. So you just keep in mind what we just looked at in terms of ETH staking, right? Institutions getting access now to earn yield, right? This is something that's not been done before. And then we have this, which is coming straight out of Morgan Stanley. GIC guides 16,000 advisors managing $2 trillion in savings and wealth for clients. We're entering the mainstream era. And to put it very simply, Morgan Stanley says it will support 16,000 financial advisors managing $2 trillion if they wish to allocate to Bitcoin and crypto. And something tells me that more and more people are going to like to allocate to Bitcoin and crypto. Here's Hashdex. The headlines go on right now. Meet NCIQ, the ETF that follows NCI US, a public rules-based benchmark. The first US multi-asset spot crypto ETP, now covering Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, ADA, and XLM. We just added an XLM risk model, which is really cool. And the ADA adoption that is happening right now across institutions with ETFs, I really like to see it. Here's Hashdex. This was the other day, 5 days ago, October 1st, posting straight up to Cardano community. We're excited about Cardano helping to power the future of finance being added to NCIQ. Those are some of the main headlines. And then we have some kind of speculative looking ones. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says no one should be surprised if Bitcoin hits 300,000 this cycle. Here's another one. I don't know if these are exact quotes. Sometimes you got to be careful on X, but Larry Fink says crypto to 15 trillion this cycle. The upside, insanely large. Let's start talking about some of the charts. We'll monitor. We'll probably do a more in-depth analysis of Bitcoin dominance, but right now we have the 20-week moving average just approaching the 50-week, a massive move that has not happened since last altcoin season started. So that move is in play, but right now we still have this pullback to those moving averages in play. Maybe there's upside for Bitcoin dominance, a couple, 2-3% before going lower. I don't know. Maybe Bitcoin dominance does something like it's never done before at this stage of a cycle and just goes crazy. But right now, I'm looking for a continuation of altcoin markets. That would be Bitcoin dominance on this chart falling. But let's talk about altcoin markets. What I want to point out to you is this. Yes, the chart itself is breaking above this multi-year. I mean, just look at this. This is a move. Breaking all-time high from last cycle. But here's where it becomes more of just like a visualization exercise, a charting exercise for me. What is, because I keep saying like we're just getting started, and I don't mean to do that as like this clickbait thing. I genuinely think that, and I've thought that for a very long time. And you can just see from bear market lows, it really has been the case. This has been a slow accumulation of higher highs and higher lows. So how is it that even here, as we test all-time highs on this chart, we're just getting started? Well, right now, if you look at, and I have this note, what is the risk? You go to our altcoin risk model is at 27. And if you look at November of 2021, last cycle, when it was breaking all-time highs, you can see we're in the 50s, right? And this is on the altcoin market cap risk model. We're going to get a way better view of how risk really just lines up with last cycle at this moment when we look at the Ethereum chart. This is the altcoin market cap risk model, but you can just see we're well below that. And what I want to point to your attention, if we go back to this chart, is, well, from a price perspective move, right? We are kind of, as we're getting ready to try and break, and I don't know if the move will happen here, we start getting separation here from last cycle all-time high. That's a similar move to what happened back here in February of 2021. So we go back to the risk model and we can zoom into February of 2021 and you can see even there, it was a 47. We're well below that now and at a very similar area, meaning testing all-time highs on the altcoin market cap chart. This tells me that the suppression has been insane this cycle, and we really are at the beginning of the move. Notice that first swing high went into the mid-60s on the altcoin market cap chart. Ethereum's going to give us a really nice view, and by the way, I want to do some short-term Ethereum analysis because we have this nice symmetrical triangle busted pattern now just looking very nice with the breakout above the upper trend line after the fake out to the downside. But going back to Ethereum on the weekly zoomed out chart, here's where we are, everybody. We are looking at this same type of vibe that we just saw in the altcoin market cap chart illustrated on Ethereum. So we're testing all-time highs from last cycle, yes. But the question is, again, well, what's risk here compared to here? And it's crazy. If you go look at the risk model for Ethereum, we're at a 56 right now. So if you go and we look at all-time high of last cycle, so somewhere in November back here, look at this, 90s, in the 91 area. So then it's kind of like, so you're telling me Ethereum is basically at the same price as it was years and years ago, but the risk has been completely reset. When I say that we're just getting started, that, we're still early here, this is a huge piece of that puzzle for me. And this is why I say it. I don't say it to be a perma bull. When things flip and risk gets too high, I will talk about it. Right? I might not show the risk models as much because that is for our members, but I will be talking about it. And so in terms of my opinion, we're just not there yet. And you can see that 91 last cycle at this price, and it's full reset right now. Because if you look at Ethereum charts, right, risk score wise, if we're talking about a 56, you go back to our risk model. I mean, this is like December. This is November. You can even see in mid-December, we're at a 51 or, 53, December 25th, December 15th, 51. That's where we are. And you can see last cycle, that's like the pre-bull move. This is where I think we still are with all of these headlines going on right now. So that's kind of from a risk perspective where we are. From a short-term perspective, I do want to discuss because we've been tracking it. I've been watching price. We've been just using Ethereum as a very nice roadmap for price. And what we've had most recently is kind of this symmetrical triangle. And my last video, I was basically just discussing, well, we have two scenarios. Number one, something like this playing out where the 20 was falling below the 50 moving average, the green below the blue, and it was kind of like a fake out when we went higher. Or back here in January 2025, 20 below the 50, and then we actually fell, right? Those were our two scenarios because right now, that's what's happening. The 20, again, is falling below the 50, and we have this move to the downside, and it's like, which one's going to play out? What's very good on the short term, and we'll have to monitor this because right now, Ethereum's not too far above this Fibonacci, and that's one area I want to just kind of bring to your attention. So swing high to the swing low, and it's just this area of where there could be potential resistance. You can see confluent with this green rectangle, that Fibonacci retracement area was the apex of the triangle. And sure enough, there was, like 3 days of sideways and resistance. Now we're making a move to the upside. Want to see separation from the apex as well as the Fibonacci. And if there's not separation, what we want to see, or at least what I want to see, is continued closes on the daily above the 20 in green and the 50 in blue. So I don't even care if Ethereum just like struggles to break out right now and just sideways. But as long as we're above these moving averages, that's what I'm looking at. Support above those moving averages for continuation to the upside. Fail-safe support would be the swing low to wherever resistance might be, and a higher low on the daily. So 41 down to 4,000. So that's a fail-safe support so that we do not fall on some, more midterm bearish momentum. But right now, the breakout for Ethereum and altcoins is in play. It could be sideways. We could chop a little bit into the 20 and the 50 as they kind of reverse to the upside, or we could just start breaking out now. I do not know how it will play out, but I'll continue monitoring. I'll continue tracking, and just wanted to share this data with you as we start this new week. As you know, I am bullish on crypto, but we have to manage our risk. We have to and we're all different, but we have to just kind of plan accordingly. Whether we break out, whether we're sideways, whether we start falling. So be careful out there, everybody. I think the markets are looking just really good. The headlines are just insane to see. We've waited years for this. So let's continue tracking and see how this thing plays out this week. I appreciate you watching. Hit the subscribe and like on the way out. And if you're not in our intelligence system, please check us out. Hit the link below. We have a free trial, so you can try our risk models. Get into our exit planner that's back there. Start planning your exits, visualizing what the gains might look like. Activate risk mode so that you can just put that speculation and emotion aside and kind of use data a little bit more in terms of setting alerts for higher risk scores and selling at those levels. So appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video. God bless.